9 a.m, babe, so early. Snapchat, good morning. What's going on? Look at this morning. Oh my gosh. Let's go for a walk. Snapchat, good morning. What's going on? Today we're talking about cuckolds.
You know a word that is not used very often anymore? Cuckold. I'm a cuckold. David Lindhagen, cuckold.
For all of the non-perverts here, a cuckold is a kind of a situation in the sexual fetish form where there's a guy and a girl, usually a husband and wife, and then there's another guy that comes in. And the third party, the other guy, fucks the wife, fucks the missus, and then sometimes in the porn version of it that the guy watches, or he's the one filming, the husband is filming. And that's like a thing now. It's like a fetish, and people do it, and people film it, and people watch it, blah, blah, blah. The word cuckold comes from the cuckoo bird, which lays its eggs in the nests of other birds. And then when the egg hatches, there's a cuckoo bird with all the other birds who's not its real siblings, and then the mother bird raises the cuckoo bird like it's her own, but it's not. Sometimes the cuckoo bird ends up being the dominant motherfucker, eats all the worms, takes all the food, and the other birds die out. The cuckoo bird lives on. Very cheeky. And the reason I share this little story is to try and help my students not to become cuckolds with their life. Let me explain. This diagram is a diagram of mind, of your mind. Up here we have the higher mind, down here we have the lower mind. We have duality of mind. And if you're new around these parts, the reason I draw it like this, like a triangle, is because it's a pendulum. Think of a pendulum swinging to and fro. Down here in the lower mind, in the subjective mind, it oscillates. And down here, your lower mind, your subjective mind, oscillates according to the laws of polarity, rhythm, and vibration in the universe. As you move up and start using higher mind, the length of the pendulum becomes smaller and the vibration becomes faster. High vibration is up here, lower vibration down here. This is your animal nature, this is your angelic nature. By drawing in these dashed lines here, what I've kind of done is done a two-dimensional representation of the differing planes of existence. Up here is your being. The pendulum that we're talking about today, and this plane here is the mental plane. Down here is the physical plane. This is your becoming. This is body, mind, soul. Now, the ancient Hermetic teachings used to call the higher mind the I and the lower mind the me and the I. This is the true self. This is the personas and masks. You probably understand that people's personalities are not their true self. Down here, in the lower mind, people's personalities and masks are subject to rhythm and polarity. So if you get someone who's the funniest motherfucker in the room that constantly expresses comedy, you can rest assured that they will have a repression of tragedy. Comedy and tragedy are entangled. All opposing personas are entangled. So if you get someone who expresses one particular side of themselves, one particular trait, you can rest assured that they're expressing it probably behind closed doors. And this is why you're going to save a lot of time in your fucking development if you don't infatuate with polarized traits. Happiness, positivity, comedy, funny. That's only one side. The people who you think only have one side have the other side. If you think you only have one side, you have the other side. Look closely. You've got it. But if you go and subordinate to cultural value structures and you think that you should only be nice and kind and giving and calm and funny and happy and positive, you'll beat yourself up because you have the other side. And you'll think these traits are bad, you'll try and repress them and not let people know that you are that way, but in public you'll express this side and you'll be fucking bipolar, you'll be all over the place, you'll be crazy. The masters on the planet own all of themselves. They know all of themselves and they own all of themselves. They use all of themselves and they love all of themselves. To get to the top of the game, you have to be hero and villain. You have to master your mean side. You have to be an arsehole sometimes. If you think that you're never an arsehole and you repress that side, you get pushed around. If you're too much of an asshole and too much of a villain and you're polarized in that direction, then you will bring about humbling circumstances to bring you back to balance. But you need to own both sides. The masters own both sides. You need to own both your masculine and feminine side. The ancient Egyptians knew the power of androgyny in the mind, harnessing both the feminine and masculine traits in the mind. The seventh Hermetic principle is gender. And so the ancient Hermetic teachings referred to the higher mind as the masculine mind and the lower mind as the feminine mind. The principles of gender are manifested everywhere in the universe, from atoms to galaxies. Don't get too caught up with higher mind, masculine being male, and male being higher. That's not what it means. The masculine mind being associated with the higher mind just means that it's the giver. It's the transmitter of intention and desire down into the feminine mind. Masculine transmits, feminine receives. Are we on the same page with that? Because the higher mind is on the border of the soul, this is where your soul-guided desires come from, your masculine mind. They go down to the lower mind, which is on the border of mind and body. Spiritual realm, physical realm. Heavenly Father, Mother Nature. Feminine, masculine. Make sense? Now, here's the entire game. Because your lower mind, your feminine receiving mind, has a closer attachment to your body and what you do on the physical plane, if you don't take orders from your own higher mind, your own soul-guided desires, your masculine I, you can get cuckolded by someone else's desires. Meaning, someone can drop their intentions, their soul-guided desires, their values into your lower mind, which is received by the feminine self, and you run with it. And their eggs could hatch, and you could be left living in life, raising an idea, raising a value system, a goal structure that's not even yours. And your deepest, truest, soul-guided desires and intentions could come down here from the higher mind and be met with subordinations and values injections from others. And instead of having what's truly important to you, your soul-guided intentions run smoothly through the mind and manifest in the physical plane, you have a fucking war here, a war in the mind. So, whenever you hear me on Snapchat here say don't subordinate to others, this is a teaching that masters have been passing down for literally thousands of years. The Hermeticists knew this and taught this. The ancient Egyptians, the ancient Greeks, the Babylonians, even in biblical times, they taught this, but you needed to understand what they were trying to teach. In Ephesians in the Bible, it says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as you do the Lord." It means make sure your feminine lower mind submits to your masculine higher mind as it does the Lord or your soul. Soul, masculine mind, feminine mind, in that order. In 1 Timothy, "I do not permit a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man. She is to remain quiet." They're not talking about males and females. They're talking about don't let your lower feminine receiving mind subordinate to external authorities and inject values and ideas and beliefs into it. Submit only to your own man, your higher masculine mind. In my personal opinion, I think there's a tremendous amount of wisdom in the Bibles and in the ancient religious teachings. But I think a lot of people take the words literally and they fucking misconstrue the wisdom. And because many of the followers of traditional religions don't actually believe in themselves that much, they go and subordinate to the guy in the sky and they think that it's someone else external from them. And they never really figure out that they are the creators. You are the creator of your own life. Your life in the physical plane is a manifestation made in the image of your soul-guided desires. But if you're running guilt and shame patterns and you don't actually believe in yourself or love yourself that much and you haven't done a whole lot of self-introspection, you'll go and subordinate and give away your power and think it's some other guy in the sky. You're the creator of your life. Don't let other people cuckold their ideas and lay their eggs in your lower mind. Tell them to back off. Follow your own soul-guided desires.